for joining the practice today. We're going to be doing yoga practice that's going to be good for our joints. A lot of this may seem really simple, but know that just because things are simple doesn't mean that they're not effective, right? So try to stick with it. Try to stay for the whole class, and know that this will be good for not just your joints, but your muscle tissues and your tendons, and just kind of loosening and fleshing everything up a little bit today too. So this is great to do any time of the day, maybe especially in the morning, but also good in the evening as well, because we will be trying to move pretty slow at times, and it might feel relaxing. But like I said, try to stick with it the whole time. So let's start in a nice, comfortable, easy seat position here. We'll do some of our yogic breathing, and you can have a blanket if you want with you, if you want to prop up on, or maybe later on if you want one underneath your head. So I'm just going to prop up on this for a little bit. Prop up onto your seat or your blanket. And let's focus inwards and begin closing your eyes now. And your breath's going to go in through the nose and out through the mouth several times, just like that. Nice, slow, deep breaths in through the nose and out through your mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth several more times. And as you do this, just feel like you're moving that oxygen as you inhale down into all the parts of your body that may need a little bit of focus today. So maybe even as far as your feet, your ankles, you're trying to send your breath there. In through the nose, and just letting go out through the mouth, and just getting into the knee position, the hips, in through the nose, continue breathing, out through the mouth. And you want your seat just to be comfortable, but also pretty attentive. So notice if you can slightly lift your chest center a little bit. Notice if you can draw down the shoulders as much as you can from the ears. And noticing what that feels like for you, this part of your practice. Noticing what your back might feel like today, or any other of the sensations that you might feel in your body. So we're just going to try to imagine the breath going there for just a few more rounds. And we'll keep that yogic breath going nice and strong. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Very good. And you can join your hands in through heart center, maybe setting a nice intention for your practice today, that you will do your best, that you'll try your best just to stick with the whole practice and loosen the whole body as one system, all connected. Everything that we do here is all connected. And letting those arms and hands come down and go. So the first place I want to get into is around the feet. We'll start from the floor. We'll start from the bottom half of your body and come on up. So let's cross your ankles and come into a seat with your hips back towards the feet here, rather towards the heels. So you're going to just know that for some of you here, it might be pretty intense. It might be pretty sensational to just flex those toes back. And maybe for some of you, it might not be as strong of a stretch. We're all in this, we're all different here. Just know that if you need to tap out of this pose, that's okay. You can tuck your toes back the other way. But we're just trying to get into all those toes here for just a moment and tuck them under. You're sitting back towards your heels, coming back into that seat and continuing that yogic breathing. We can come right back to breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. If that sensation is really strong here, and if you can stick with it for just a little bit, you can let it go. And just know that this can be something fun. Fun is an interesting word to use, but something you can work on, right? Especially if you feel the stretch. When I first started this, I was not nearly able to hold this pose for as long. It was pretty intense. So you build up to it and you work into it. So I'm going to hold this toe stretch for about 2-3 more breaths. Fully in, letting go, fully in, letting go, and fully in, letting go. That's very good. So we're going to tap out of this now so you can lower down to your hands and your knees. Go slowly. Ooh, that can be quite a release. And we're just going to tap those toes now. Get that blood flow going. And now just with the toes maybe tucked back the other way, we're going to try to sit back on the heels. Breathe in through the nose. Breathe out through the mouth. Good. So now we're going to take your right foot and bring it up to the side of your mat. Maybe for this demonstration, I'll turn and face you guys this way and you can mirror me. So you should feel this possibly on your shin, the inside of your leg. And try to keep your arms straight as well. And then we'll bring that leg back. Maybe move into the hips a little bit here. Move and circle your lower body around. And we'll extend your left leg out to the side for that same stretch here. And just know that everything that we do here is going to be good for you. And I will try my best to keep reminding you that, because it might not seem that way sometimes. But just know that everything that we try and do in the practice of yoga is good for you. And after we stretch that leg out, let's bring it back and just try to circle around the body here a couple times. And circles and the hips and the joints. Good, and then come back into that toe stretch that we started with. Tucking the toes under, sitting back towards the heels. As you build these positions and you build your tolerance sometimes, you'll surprise yourself how much longer that you'll be able to sort of stay in these positions longer than others sometimes. So we're just going to tap it out, let that go, and then start again, this time bringing that right foot up towards the front of your mat. So what I like to do here is wiggle that foot up a little bit towards the front of your mat. And we're going to go right down into the hip joint. Notice you are sort of trying to hinge forward here in this pose. So you're taking a deep breath, and as you exhale, you're hinging forward into the lunge. If you need to just level the hands onto the floor here to give you support, you're just going to hold it there. And we're going to do quite a bit of turns today too. So we're just going to lift that back leg and turn out to the back of your mats. So don't worry if you can't see your screen or you can't see me just yet. Trust that, you're going to listen to the cues, listen to the instruction, and just know that you're pretty much on this side doing the same posture that we just got into. So hinging forward through your hip bones, you're just bending down into your front knee and trying to find your center as you go down to that lunge. And if you need to sit up a little bit here, sit up, or if you need to drop your arms and hands down to the mat, you can just pause here and do this. Good, and then we're going to take one more breath. And remember, you want to keep breathing. You can keep doing that nose to mouth breath, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Just sort of trying to build more oxygen in the body. And then we're going to lift that back leg up. You can turn back and go to the middle of your mat now, so you're in a wide leg stretch. Remember that shin, remember that space on the inside of your legs we're going to get into again. But start to pick up your back about into a quarter or a half lift position. And then fold forward just a little bit deeper down into that stretch. We'll try that out again. In through the nose and release out. Good. As we squeeze those feet and legs in together, we're going to come straight up. Notice the legs are a bit wide here, so you can turn to face me if that's more better for you to go through these next instructions. So we got the toes, we got the hips, we got the shins, just kind of working and moving. The thing that I want to get to now is right in between the toes, the shins, the hips. And it's our ankles, all right, ankle joint. So what we're going to do is turn to face one side of your mat. We'll do both, so I'm going to do left foot forward, right foot back. And your back foot, your heel, I want you to lift it up here a little bit. Take your hands on your sides. So you're sort of like in between a warrior one and a lunge, which is a slight shorter stance. So I don't want you to take a long stance here. I want you to try to shorten it up a little bit here. And we're going to really shorten this up here and move into the ankle. So I'm starting out, and this might seem, again, a little weird or a little not effective at first. You could do this with the wall. We are circling around that ankle, circling to the toes. And I'm starting out by going counter, or clockwise rather. I'm starting out this way. I want to do at least 8 to 10. So we've done it about 8 to 10 now. We're going to switch and circle out that ankle in the other direction. So I'm working into the toes, I'm working into the ankle, my foot, right? Really important here. I would sometimes do these stretches to get blood flow going and work on the joints. So after we do that about 8, 10 times, circle around that ankle, we're going to turn out to the other side of your mat. Or you can just switch your legs, so bringing that foot in a little bit here, we'll start to move into that ankle. So you can keep the hands on the hips as you shorten up a little bit here. About 8 to 10 you want to try to go for at least to get some of the benefit here. And I told you guys this might be a little bit weird at first. It might seem super simple, like, why am I doing this? I don't really feel anything. But sometimes it's not really the point to feel it now, right? Sometimes a lot of the things that we do are for maybe feeling it later. So you might feel this later on, that you feel a little bit more loose, hey, in the ankles. A lot of a common place that we need support on. So I'm going to reverse it to do counterclock, a couple of repetitions of this, circling around that heel, circling around your ankle. Good. Alright, then we'll just join the feet together. We'll go to the knees now. And we're going to place your hands there and start to go into the knees. So I'm going to go in one direction, just circling around, counterclock or clockwise, getting into the knees, circle them around. Hopefully you have healthy knees enough to do this, but try to just do as much as you can to move those knees around. Circle them around. If you feel any clicking, anything like that, it's pretty common, pretty normal, but if you feel any pain, just know you want to do a lot less. You want to maybe stop and come back to it at another time. We're going to go the other direction now. We're doing a little bit more than 8 to 10 just because this is a new type of practice and I want you guys to try to feel it today. Circle around those knee joints, hinge them around, circle them around. It's great, you guys. Doing good. Keep going, keep breathing as well too. Nice. And then we're gonna let that go and slowly stand all the way up in a mountain pose position. Take a deep breath. Let's pause here for a moment, just sort of check in and notice how your ankle joints are feeling, how your knee joints. And then we're going to move the hands to the hips. And you might know what we're going to do here. We're going to circle those hips around. So y'all, the first couple times I started to do this in my yoga practice, I noticed how weird it was at first that in one side, right, I feel like a little bit of like a pop each time. I think I just felt one right there right now. So our body is just weird, but I find that when we do this type of practice and we do this stuff, that it is, it'd be weird not to do it, but great to move our bodies around in all these different types of ways. So we're going to keep circling and moving the hips around, see if we can get deep in those circles. We're going at least 8 to 10, but let's try to do at least maybe 2, 3 more here. Big circles. And then we're going to move our hips and circle them around to the other side. I'm not really keeping track of which direction, counterclock or clockwise, I'm doing first. Just sort of going with it. We know that we're going to do both directions here. You might notice one direction than the other creates that more popping sensation. It's almost every time for me on this side. And it's gotten a little bit better since I started to work a little bit more on the joints in the yoga practice. So keep those circles going, move the hips. Come on, keep going, try to stick with it. One more here. Good. And coming back to that mountain pose position. Let's check in with your legs here. Check in with your lower body. Maybe it's joints, maybe everything like that. Good. Now we'll get into the wrist. So we'll start standing up again. I'll face you guys. So you'll make a little fist here. And every time that you're going outwards, rotation, coming out towards you, and you'll notice we'll have to keep track of when we're going out and in, that we're moving around the arms and the wrists. So external rotation, we're going to go out, and we're going to stretch those arms out. So you're opening up the chest and the shoulders here, specifically getting more into the wrist, those ends of the arms. And then every time that you're bringing the wrist in, you're bringing them in, you're bringing the arms in towards you, and you're closing it in towards you. So one more time, I'll guide you. We're going to go out with the wrists, rotating the wrist out away from you, and stretching the arms. And then we're going to go in, bringing those wrists in towards you, and bringing the arms in. But we're going to keep going. At least 8 to 10. Let's try to go for, I'm going to close the eyes to really feel that movement that I'm creating here with the wrist and the arms. So just keep going. You keep going as well. Every time that you're rotating out with the wrist, you're bringing the arms out, you're stretching them out. This is really effective, y'all. And every time that you're bringing those wrists in, you're rotating them in towards you. You're bringing the arms with you as well. And wrists are such an important part of our body that sometimes we forget to take care of them and use them. But we do use them a lot. Sometimes we overuse them. So we do a lot of down dogs and a lot of planks and push-ups, and we shouldn't be pushing down too much into the wrist, but sometimes we do. Let's do that 2 more times. External rotation out, internal rotation in. And then we'll do that external rotation out. And then internal rotation in. Good. And we're just going to pause, drop those arms down, just kind of check in with how that made you feel. And check in with your hands, try to relax them. Check in with your wrists, try to relax them as well. Your arms, just notice how that made you feel. Notice how that felt. Take a breath. Good. Now we're going to set up a bigger stance with the legs. So let's do a left foot forward, right foot back. Slightly bigger stance. So notice the foot down flat here, so you're in more of a warrior position. So the arm that's the same as your back leg, so my right arm, your right arm as well. We're gonna sort of start to swing that arm, bottom half of it around a few times. I'm gonna keep the right leg straight. There could be a little bend to it, but I'm not really focused on the lower body just yet here. So it's a little bit more comfortable just to straighten that leg out. I'm really just trying to focus on the right shoulder here. And I'm loosening up, I'm swinging it around We're going to go for a few repetitions of here. Anything today in the joints, anything in your body that doesn't feel right, just don't do it yet, right? We're building up to everything. It's better that you're maybe moving a little bit slower and just sort of doing stretches like this and going into a little bit more gently rather than, starting to swing it 100% right away. So I've started to do this more and more, so I've gotten more range of movement here in my shoulders, so I'm able to increase it more. So we're going to start with some forward strokes. So the arm's going to come all the way up, and like you're throwing a pitch, right? Like you're a baseball pitcher. You're going to be circling that arm all the way around. About 8 to 10, let's go for. You're not opening up the body there too. You're just really trying to focus on that shoulder. So you're trying to look straight forward, right? Circle that arm around, doing forward strokes. Great for increasing the strength in your shoulders here too, because if you keep them mobile, they will be really strong. I'm going to go just a little bit faster here at the end. Good, and then we're going to move it into a back stroke here now. So go gentle. That chest and shoulder is going to open up here a little bit here, and we're working into the back stroke. Again, you can keep it really slow and gentle like I'm here now, because I just want to be pretty gentle with the shoulders at first. I'm not trying to break my body or anything like that. I'm trying to just keep movement going. Just movement-based practice. Keeping the body in movement, keeping it in flow. I can swing a little bit more into it if you're ready. Keeping that joint mobile, keeping it healthy. And then releasing it, releasing the shoulders down. We'll take the hands on the waist. So again, you can just switch the legs if you want to, or you can turn around. I'm going to turn around and face the other side, but maybe make sure that you can see me. This way you're getting comfortable with that type of swing in the shoulder, in this shoulder practice. So my left arm is going to swing around. It's the same side as my back leg. And I want to just stay facing forward, right? I'm not turning out to the side. I'm not turning just to face you yet with my whole body. I'm trying to stay centered. And at first, I'm just kind of getting into the bottom half of my arm and loosening it up at first. And remember, I told you guys today, a lot of this is going to be really simple. It's going to feel maybe sometimes a little bit boring because it doesn't look cool, doesn't look pretty, right? But this is sometimes the stuff that we need to do to get more flexible and stronger, especially in the joints. So let's do a couple more. Stick with this, keep going. Remember to breathe. So now we're going to do the overhead pitch. So coming forward. So on this side actually is one of my shoulders where I don't have as much range of mobility here, but this is why I do this practice. So I'm going to be a little bit more gentle on this side, right? Rotating that shoulder around, bringing it over and as much. And since I've started to do this, you guys, I've just seen my shoulder actually get much better and much more range of mobility here. It was from an injury a couple of years ago that still kind of, comes and goes. But keeping it movement just feels really good sometimes, just to kind of keep that shoulder healthy and strong. Don't worry what it looks like. Keep that going. Sorry, I get tired out on this side. And then 2 more. Good. Then we're going to go into that back stroke here now. So, bring it back. So quite a different practice than what we usually do, but so good, you guys. Stick with this. As long as you don't feel any bad pain or anything like that, maybe it's just a little bit of tiring. Good, right? Let's tire out those joints a little bit. Let's go. Keep going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, good. So bring those feet together. You know what we're going to do here is just hold that mountain pose. And just sort of check in with how that made you feel, what just happened, what's happening, what's going on. And just trying to relax, settle into it. Good. And roll back the shoulders. So, did the wrist, we did the shoulder. Let's do the elbow. So this part of our arm, right, in between the shoulder and the elbow, what we're going to do here is a little yogic posture where we try to bring that right arm out to the side. So I'll face this way. So you can see I'm going to bring that arm around the lower back. So for like tennis elbow, which is something I think that I have, right, like a tendon right there, that connected into that shoulder. Keeping that stretch in the tendon and in the tissues and in the joint is important to do, and it'll improve it here. So you don't have to grab that hand that's around the lower back. If you can try to just hook that the hand around the lower part of your back or up a little bit higher, cool. With a towel, with a strap, this might be a little bit more accessible. And maybe it's easier if I face this way. But I'm going to try to lift up that other hand and try to look at grasping the hands. With a strap, you would do the same thing. You would just hold the strap, bring it here, hold it, stretch that other arm up, and trying to grab the strap. So you're eventually, right, you're looking to get as closely as you can. And this bottom elbow is trying to sort of push forward this way. So really you're getting it into that spot. If you don't have any issues with the elbows, again, this might feel like, why am I doing this, right? It might not feel as effective, but we still want to keep those parts of our body healthy here. And there's always somewhere to go into the practice. So let's hold what you have here now and think about lifting the back and chest and then collapsing here a little bit, just trying to move everything in. So again, everything that we've been doing, just kind of working it together, connecting everything together, just moving around the ankles, the knees, the hips, and then the shoulders, moving around the back. Getting a little bit of movement into the practice. At least 8 to 10, let's try to go for. Maybe we're going for a little bit more today. That's okay, right? You're learning something about your body today, so let's try to go a little bit deeper. But if you want to make this a regular type of practice, try to go for at least maybe 8 to 10. So slowly, we're going to let that arm and hand go. Drop it down. I felt that so much on that side. So we're going to go into the next arm now. So you can bring that arm to the side, rest it around your back. It's also a good way to keep the shoulders healthy too, because often we internally rotate that shoulder, right? And that's what leads to the posture of our body being poor. So keeping those shoulders open and healthy is going to increase our chest, our shoulders, our elbow, our arms. Again, use a strap if you need to. It's going to help you so much here to increase your flexibility. And it takes a long time. It takes some time. But just know that you are doing something good for yourself, something good for your body. So I want to keep the body just kind of moving here, in and out. Feeling the stretches here. Feel the stretch in the shoulder. I feel it a bit in the elbow on this side too. Now I'm getting into the back, I'm getting into the hips, I'm getting into just some movement here in the stretch, finding your movement in the practice. Alright, let's try to keep going. We want to go at least 8 or 10, but we're going to go a little bit more like we did on the last side. So same thing here, you're going to inhale, open, exhale, close in. And 2 more. Inhale, open, exhale, close in. Inhale, open, exhale, close in. Good. And then slowly release your strap, release your arm, release your hands down to your sides, and just try to sit up tall, stand tall. Just notice that release coming out of it. You should feel something coming out of it. Maybe a little bit of tinglingness, maybe a nice release now, a change of blood flow. Just notice what it is, right? Try to stay neutral to whatever is happening. And we'll roll back those shoulders. So let's come onto the floor now. We'll get into a seat position, since we might not need to be standing up for the neck practice. So I think I mentioned this at another time of the practice, that doing less sometimes is more. So when it comes to the neck roll, I found that sometimes doing a little bit less of that neck roll and just getting into small neck rolls is way more effective, at least for me. So, you know, if you want to get into really big neck rolls and just kind of grind, see how that feels. But if you just sit up and then take your chin down a little bit here and start to roll that ear to shoulder and bring it around, start with a few really gentle neck rolls. And the neck is just such a common place that we get tight and tensed out in. And for a while I was so used to just, when I felt like I was holding tension, I wanted to roll the neck around to, like, you know, get into really big neck rolls and really get in there. But just through regular practice, I've noticed sometimes doing less of it, it just felt better, it felt nicer. Just to be a little bit more gentle with those neck rolls and try to do a little bit more repetitions of them. So notice I'm just doing it in one direction at first and just getting into that rhythm. Connecting it in with the breath. Just allowing it to feel really nice. Nothing too strenuous. There's a little bit of cracking and but you know, there's still some there, little air bubbles. So we're gonna do at least 8 to 10, but we got one more here, and we're gonna change it out to the other direction. So whatever we do to one side, we always want to make sure that we do it to the other side as well too. So just moving that head around in the opposite direction. And great if you experience, this is great if you might have headaches or shoulder or neck pain. Even for like a simple thing like driving, where we gotta turn around sometimes, where we're not using the mirror all the time. We turn our heads and we might look back or look to our sides. Even something as simple as driving, right, is something that we use the neck a lot in. We use the neck quite a bit. We want to keep that neck mobile and strong and healthy. So I'm just doing tiny little neck rolls, really just trying to feel it and get into it here. One more. Good. And then let's bring the head down, chin to chest. We'll do a little seated heart opener so you can bring those arms and hands back. And then bring your hands down on the lap. We're going to do several cat and cow positions in the seat. So really try to round the spine here. And then inhale. Really try to open the back and spine up. Exhale, bring the chin down, round the back. And inhale, open and lift up. So we haven't gotten too much twist today in the practice. So let's bring the right arm back and just sort of do a gentle little twist here on your side. And then over around the other way. Getting into that spine now. We forgot about that spine for a little bit, but we're getting back in there. Good. And then just joining in a nice comfortable seat. So close your eyes before we begin our relaxation today. Let's sort of take note of all the work that you've done thus far in your ankles, your knees, your hips, your shoulders, your wrists, your elbows, your neck, and just in your seat, seeing how everything in your body is all connected. We call it the fascia. The fascia is all these parts of our body connected by this web type system. And that's why keeping our center, keeping our core strong is so important. So just to have you sit up in your seat attentively, right? There's so much involved. And try to keep a slight contraction around your midsection so you're sitting up tall. Excuse me. So we're going to start our relaxation today now. So I recommend bringing a blanket or towel under your head, or maybe for this practice today, it would be really great to bring your legs up against a wall. So I'm going to go legs up against the wall, relaxing the arms back. And just taking your time here. As we know, this is the most important part of the practice. So all that mobility that we went into in your body, relax, let it go. all that work in the joints. Relax those joints, let it go. All the work in your muscles, and the movements. Now release them, let it go. All the work in our tendons, our tissues, all that work in the insides of our body. Just try to relax here and let it go. And then just try, most importantly, to let your mind relax and let everything go. And you're just here trying to relax the mind. Just trying to relax the mind as much as you can. Relax your mind. Relax your mind. And start to wiggle around your toes and your finger joints, right, and all that. If your legs are against the wall, don't rush. Just gonna bring the legs down to the side for a second and rest. And bringing your practice or your body back up into a seat. So I hope you guys enjoyed this practice. And I want to thank you so much for joining today. Remember to keep it going, stick with it, and you will notice quite a change in the way that you're feeling, your mood, your physical health, even